Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Incoming here on the Psychosin Project channel on YouTube. Today I'm going to be reviewing the upcoming release by Cold Chamber, their first new album in 15 years, sorry 12 years, not 15, the one and only Rivals. Who are Cold Chamber? Well, let me tell you. 12 long years since Cold Chamber last darkened down music collection with their unique mix of new metal, industrial and gothic metal, and they have come back with Rivals. Known for their catchy riffs, anthemic choruses and mosh pit starting songs, this is the right time for the band to return and treat us to a new collection of anthemic tunes with the new album Rivals. The current lineup of the band is Des Farfara on vocals, Migs Rascal on guitar, Mike Cox on drums and Nadia Pulan on bass. The first track on the album is I Owe You Nothing. Now, some of you who have been listening to my radio show on www.saltmetalradio.com have already heard this song. This starts with the guitar by itself playing an awesome chuggy riff. Then the drums and bass join before Des comes in with his awesome vocals, sounding more rage-filled than ever since his time in Devil Driver. We then reach the first chorus of the album in its classic Cold Chamber, anthemic and driving. We then quiet down to just vocals and guitar after the second chorus. The band rejoins with some more melodic vocals from Des. Good to hear that he has chosen to bring back the actual singing from the second and third album of Cold Chamber. We then go into just drums, vocals and guitars before the bass rejoins, and we're back into the chorus. We end the song with the sung vocals sparring with the heavier vocals. Then we come to a sudden ending. Track number 2 is Bad Blood Between Us. Now this starts with guitar playing a melody, then the drums and bass come in and we're into a slow paced groove. We then break down to a single guitar for about 10 seconds and the band comes back in along with Desi's vocals. There's some great use of layered guitars playing different melodies crossing each other during another anthemic chorus that could sound absolutely huge live. The song continues a verse chorus verse structure until we reach a sudden end. Track 3 is Light in the Shadows. Now this starts with a distorted bass line, then the whole band crashes in, we're into a mid-paced groove riff. The clean vocals then come in with slight echo effects on them, and they increase in intensity until we're back to the classic heavy vocals that Des is known for. Another great chorus on this song, then we're back to the clean vocals into heavy vocals for the verse. We break down to just a single guitar and clean vocals. The drums and bass then come in, building the song back up to the main riff with the clean vocals over the top. We then, for the last minute, have a stop-start riff for a bit, then go into a guitar solo in the background with Desi's heavy vocals over the top. Track 4 is Suffer in Silence. Now, this is possibly only about the second Cold Chamber song I can think of that had guest vocals on it, and this has vocals from Ministry frontman Al Jurgensen. Now this starts with Des screaming the title of the song, then into another awesome heavy mid-paced riff. It might actually be Des and Al at the same time screaming the title of the song. Anyway, we then get clean vocals up in intensity as we change into a different mid-paced riff for the chorus. During the verses we have a stop-start riff and drum beat with the vocals over the top. We break down to that stop-start riff and drumming at the 2-minute mark, which leads into a rising riff, and then the vocals come back in backed by a menacing riff. This all builds us up back to the chorus, which takes us through to the end of the song. Track 5 is The Bridges You Burn. Now this starts with just the guitar playing a stop-start riff, then the vocals come in before the band joins in with another mid-bass groove song and Des ranting over the top. We get superb heavy groove riff for another anthemic chorus, then back to the verse. We then get clean vocals with an echo effect on them during the verse to get us back to the chorus again. We break down to a definite headbang style section to vary the song up, then back into the fast groove riff for the verse as the band ups the intensity on this song. We break down to just vocals and bass, then drums come in with guitar noises in the background, then back to the chorus. For the last 30 seconds of the song we have a stop-start riff which takes us through to the end. Track 6 is Orion. Now this is an interlude, so there's not going to be much for me to say on this one. This just starts with drums and guitar playing with a slow melody with Des doing spoken word over the top. It's an effective and great little interlude to help add to the overall atmosphere of the album. Track 7 is another nail in the coffin. Now this starts with double kick drumming and a guitar melody that Avenged Sevenfold will be pleased with, before we go into a great, heavy, almost Pantera style riff. The guitar then plays a two-note melody as Desi's spoken word vocals come in. Then we're back to the main riff with his hardcore styled vocals over the top, which leads us into another great catchy chorus on this song. The song continues this way between verse and chorus until we go into a different groovy riff halfway through, then back to the spoken word vocals. We then go into a definite slow-paced Pantera stomp-style drum beat and riff before we go back to the chorus, which leads us through to the end of the song. Up next is the title track of the album, Rivals, and again, some of you may have heard this if you've been listening to my radio show. This starts with high-pitched feedback sounds, then, after 30 seconds, it fades out and we go into a great horror movie-style guitar melody with Des singing over the top. We then go into the main riff, which is another great mid-paced heavy riff recalling classic Cold Chamber. Then into the stop-start guitar riff for the chorus while Des repeats the song title over and over again. The song continues its way between the verses and the chorus until we break down to just a single guitar and spoken words, then back to the main verse riff. For the last 30 seconds, the song has a menacing riff from before, with Des getting more and more angry as his vocals continue. Track 9 is Wait, which is an appropriate song considering how long we've waited for a new Cold Chamber. Anyway, this starts with a guitar melody with an effect on it and a subtle bass line. We then go into a fast groove metal style riff as Desi's vocals come in. We then go into another great chorus that will sound awesome if they choose to play this live, which I think they will, because it'll definitely get a pit going. But we get a great stop-start riff and drumming after the chorus for a bit, then back to that verse riff. At the minute 45 mark, we get a guitar solo come in to vary the song up. We then go back to the chorus, which takes us through to the end of the song. Up next is the second of the two interludes on the album, this one being called Dumpster Dive. This starts with guitar feedback, then almost tribal style drumming. Another interlude to set you up for what's to follow. Track 11 is Over My Head, and no, this isn't a cover of the Lit song from back in the early 2000s. This starts with the whole band playing along to a superb, heavy, straightforward metal riff. Then we go into a stop-start riff for the verse vocals with some backing keyboard being played subtly in the background. We then go into another absolutely excellent chorus. We get some clean vocals come in at the minute 30 mark. Then we get another backing melody from a second guitar backing up those clean vocals. We break down to just guitar and vocals, then go back into the heavy chorus. The last minute has the song upping intensity with Des ranting the title of the song over and over until we have just the guitar and vocals, which slowly come to a stop. Track 12 is Fade Away, Karma Never Forgets. Now this starts with a high-pitched guitar melody with an echo effect, then into a thrashy fast riff and Desi's heavy vocals ranting over the top angrily. Then we slow down to mid-pace for the chorus of the song. A definite song to headbang along to, one that I think they'll end up playing live. We slow down to mid-pace in the middle of the song with a one-chord style riff which repeats over and over while Des screams over the top. The high-pitched guitar melody comes back for a bit, then we're back into the fast, thrashy riff from before. Another run through the chorus takes us to the end of the song. There's definite moments of Desi's times with Devil Driver that show up in this song. Track 13, and indeed the last track on the album, is called Empty Handed. Now this starts with the drums kicking us into a stop-start riff and the vocals come in straight away as well. For the chorus we go into a nice groove riff and another anthemic vocal line. We break down to just guitar in the middle of the song, then the band comes back in and we return to that verse riff. At the middle 8 of the song, it's led by the bass and drums with some backing guitar, which then takes us back into that superb chorus, which leads us through to the end of the song, and indeed the album. So after 12 years of hoping and waiting for a new Cold Chamber album, and with Desi's Devil Driver putting a big question mark over whether it would happen, I can happily say that this is exactly the kind of album the band needs to make for its glorious return. It's superbly heavy while keeping the signature traits of Cold Chamber, i.e. the groove riffs and the kind of really heavy but anthemic choruses that you can just easily shout along to and get caught in your head for ages. What I really like about this album is they're still not afraid to experiment and give things a bit of a different feel on this album, like they've done on chamber music. this is possibly the heaviest album as well that Cold Chamber have done. I could quite happily say that as well, and also to hear sort of Migs do a few guitar solos as well was quite nice as well, finally showing his full range of guitar abilities as well. They've also escaped the trap of just making an old school new metal album. They've gone for something a bit heavier, a bit more straightforward metal, which may have something to do with Desi's influence due to the music he's been making with Devil Driver. And I have to say that I've really enjoyed this album. It's definitely a 5 out of 5 album, and I really hope this isn't a one-off reunion and we only get one album. I hope they make another, because I look very much forward to it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to help me get to interviews and all that in London, as well as help me to improve my equipment, become my patrons on Patreon. The link is literally here just below me. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I turn to